Hello, my name is Fiona Stanton from Papercraft. Today I want to show you this really quite quick and simple card using the Festive Farmhouse Designer Series paper, the Wood Textures Designer Series paper, and the seasonal layers dies and stamp set actually as well. It was in the last annual catalogue. It's in this annual catalogue as well, but it's no longer a bundle. So you need to buy the stamp set and the dies separately. But what I really wanted to show you is how you can emboss with your dies now. But we'll get to that bit in a minute. First of all, I'm just going to stamp so I can do all my die cutting at one time. So get my stamping out of the way. There isn't much stamping on this. Just a bit of scrap paper and stamp. Thank you. And there we go. That's ready to be die cut. And just one more bit of stamping. Here. This is for the inside of the card, so I'm just going to stamp the leaf for the inside. So that's all ready to go. So not much stamping on this one, which is nice. Okay, right. So, oh, sorry, probably whacked that. That was you're attached to my to where I put my things. Sorry about that. Right. To emboss your dies, you need the new Big Shot embossing mats, which are in the new annual catalogue. On the inside, you'll find in English all the instructions you need to how to set up to emboss. You can do standard sandwich, cut and emboss only. And we're going to do emboss only. The cut and emboss is only with dies that have the cutting and the embossing part on them, I believe. So this one, although I'm going to cut them out, I'm going to emboss them first, then cut them out with the standard formation. Okay, so it does come with full instructions, and I tend to do my embossing with dies upside down. I believe you're meant to cut and emboss with your dies facing upwards, with the working bit facing upwards, and then put your card on top. But I like to see where I'm embossing and cutting, so I always do it the other way round. So that on top. Now I am going to do this twice. However, you do need to be careful how many times you do things in a row, because obviously when we cut it, you're going to be passing one image through, say, one image is going to go through once and one image is going to go through twice, and that's going to affect it slightly. It's going to get a bit more flatter, or if you've got marked plates like mine, it will start getting scratches on it. So that's pretty easy, and you can see it embosses lovely. So you can obviously do multiple times, but just be aware it may, your later images when you cut them out may get affected slightly. Now then, there's the die. So then you just cut them out in your standard way, with your standard formula, plate makeup, however you want to put it. I just find it easiest for me. You could die cut them out first and then, that didn't feel right. I haven't put, oh Fiona. I forgot to put the plate in. Right. So now I'm just going to die cut it out using the standard, plate formation, or however your machine works. You could die cut it out and then emboss it, but I just found it easier this way when I've done it, to emboss then die cut. And just in terms of lining things up, I just found it easier. But I guess we all work differently, so if you find it easier to cut and emboss, and obviously that would mean you could do multiple kind of cuts and then move on to the embossing if you're doing lots, without worrying about the image being, without worried about the embossing being hurt. Right, that's that. Now I'm just going to die cut these bits out. I'll do that one in a minute. So I'm just using the mats, just going to die cut a little bit out of my cherry cobbler mat. That makes it a bit more cost effective, doesn't it? And it's only a little bit. I don't do it, I don't gut out completely, but it's quite nice to do it a little bit. I do love circles because you can't, as long as you've got it more or less central, you can't get it wrong really. Not like squares where you could get it a bit crooked. Can't be crooked with a circle. That's why I like circles. Right, let's get that and that out of the way. Let's get the rest of my bits and pieces. And now it's just putting this card together. So, oh, can't pick anything up. Right, so I'm just going to layer those up first of all. Sorry, my paper's moved all over the place, isn't it? Now just be careful when you're gutting that you don't put glue through your hole, otherwise you'll get a sticky mat. That's why I always put it on first onto its bottom layer, if you like, and then put the top layer on top of it, because that means then I won't forget not to so like I said, this DSP is from the Festive Farmhouse, so it's quite a nice all-round one really. There we go, and then a bit of this. This is the wood designer series paper. That goes quite well with that. And then we're going to put our leaves on, our 3 leaves. Always do things in 3s. Don't know why, but that's, I think it's to do with the fact that people, if it's even, people tend to count. If it's odd, they don't. I don't know why. So if you see something that looks like it should be even, you count it to make sure. And that irritates your brain. You don't want to irritate people's brains. Mine couldn't cope with being irritated. Now then. One little, oh, don't stick. One little dimensional. Oh, that's, oh well, that will get stuck down with this, won't it? It will stick. Then, and this will go on the inside. And that's a nice little seasonal thank you card. That was my original, and that was the one I made now. So with this video, I've shown you how to use the embossing mats to emboss your dies, which means you'll get a lot more use out of your dies, because you can do that with any die that you've got with those mats. You can make them into embossing dies as well as die cutting dies. I hope you enjoyed that video. My name is Stampin from Papercraft. Thank you.